I'm grateful that I can help support you through this.
No, I do appreciate you guys are just
Yeah.
fantastic in terms of the community and the support you provide. It's one thing trading can be very isolating, right? And I've noticed that your perception about money and the way that you were raised and how you look at money and treat money.
Before we get rolling here, just a reminder to please like and share our videos. Your support helps us to continue to bring you the wonderful content that we share with you each and every week.
Is a very big part of what we do on a daily basis because of the risk we put into it and the challenges we put into it. I think a lot of time you see the glitz and glamour about what trading can do, and it's, the social media side of things can sometimes mess with your head in a way and get in there in proper fashion. So being able to be on your webinars, talk about not only the strategy around trading, but the psychology of it too, right? Like I want to be vulnerable in a way to tell people that, life is not always roses, and you might have challenges that you have to figure out that get in the way of how you view money and how you view success and how you view those challenges. And being able to voice those to you and come on and talk about them is really key, because otherwise they can kind of fester. So I really do appreciate it.
It's not always just about trading. It's about
No.
other parts of life, right? And they
Yes,
and they do affect your trading also. I mean,
they
both from a
do.
time and a mental stress standpoint, I think it's important to talk about them.
100%. And the worry and the stress that you have in your life is translated in the trading that you do. We always talk about being very clairvoyant and meditating and being in the moment and not being stressed, so that you can clearly see your plan and how that is affected by the market. And if you come in depressed or stressed, or you've got, you're carrying the baggage of a really bad day, that goes into the movements that you're making in the market, right? So you have to really make sure that you can either segment them, or what I'm doing is trying to be better at being in the moment, not taking life maybe as seriously. Or, one thing I've kind of gotten into is the neuroscience around manifestation. It sounds a little hokey, but at the same time, right, you are the perception of what your mind is thinking. The world is coming at you, and it's how you relate to the events that are occurring. And if you're always negative, or you're always a perfectionist, or you're always not trusting of people, then that can really play into how you see the world. So I'm trying to be a better man, John, both personally and professionally.
That's funny what you bring up, because it's like your brain will gravitate towards what you set out there as a goal. And I found a goal sheet that I had from 2015. And Sherry just found a card that she had from 2018 that she wrote down. And we've reached both of those goals. And
that's amazing.
We weren't even trying. And it was pretty much on the time frame that was on the card. It was crazy.
Yeah. But you probably visualized it, right? You wrote it down. You maybe didn't consciously think about it all the time, but you thought about it maybe subconsciously, and you reached it.
There was
right?
this, like, you put it down, and it's like I almost didn't believe it when I put it down.
Yes.
But I put it down anyway, and I spent a period of time with it. Then I just forgot about it.
Yeah.
Like I completely forgot about it. I just went ahead and did my work.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, look at this sheet that we have, right? This is what we were planning. It's pretty close. And one of them was having a house in Florida, right? So here we are.
That's
right?
Amazing. That's amazing, right? So I think everybody talks about setting goals and putting a monetary piece to it, but I would say focus more on the process. And as soon as you show a little bit more gratitude to yourself and you figure out the other areas of your life, I think trading really kind of comes along with it, right? So it's all kind of part of the same process in a way.
Absolutely. And the thing is too, is not to be overly focused on it either. It's like, put it out there. Trust you're going to get it. Just start working. Focus on the process.
Yeah. And don't think it's don't think it's your end all be all, right? I used to think, hey, I want to leave my corporate job and I want to become a trader, and I want to do it in this amount of time. And if I don't get there in time, then I'm a failure. That's not the case, right? As soon as you kind of understand that, the better.
Yeah, sometimes these things take a little bit longer to work out.
Yeah.
But if you set a goal for $1 million and you make 500,000, is that a bad thing?
Right.
It's still a good thing. It's just like I still made it. So,
Totally is. It
yeah.
totally is.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
So you can tell us about your trading. what you've been able to process this year anyway with all the challenges. So
yeah, of course. So to maybe focus a little bit more on the trading side, to me, the pro meetings and just the way you and Stephen are kind of thinking about the markets and being a little bit more directional, I think has made a lot more sense to me. I think it was mentioned on a meeting a few months back, is taking the M3-4U, which doesn't take a ton of time and brain power to adjust on any given time frame, and starting to take the stages of improvement that are a little bit more subjective, right? So I might start, I might lean it a little bit more on entering the trade than what the guidelines might say based on technical analysis. Or I might let the delta ranges breathe a little bit more when we're coming into support or resistance, and knowing that I can start to add a little bit of flair into it, right? And then that is sort of my bread and butter. And then I will look at certain points in the market to where I can, go with a bullish vertical or go with a bearish vertical and kind of have a little arsenal, right? We always talk about having various different tools in your tool chest. You don't want to just have a hammer to hammer nails, but you want to make sure that you can sprinkle in a few other those different tools. And all in all, when you look at your progress, you're refining those tools, and you've got a good variability there versus saying, I'm just going to be an M3-4U guy and my entire capital that I'm willing to trade is going to be in just one trade. If you start to sprinkle them around, I feel as though you're accelerating the understanding of the TA that you do on a weekly basis, and really starting to kind of feel and learn about the equities that you're trading, whether it's an index or an individual company. So for me, I'm still kind of sprinkling that in. I'm kind of living in that 30-day time frame right now. I'm bending and weaving the broken wing butterfly to what I see fit, and then sprinkling a little dash of other trades in there to keep things interesting, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. There are times when it's highly probable the price is going to do something.
Yeah.
Right. Would you agree with that? It's like people say, I don't know where the price is going. Yeah, nobody really knows for sure where the price is going, right? So true. I would agree with that. But in the same context, certainly times when there's really high probabilities of it going, a certain direction or a certain magnitude, right? Yes. So I think it makes sense to maybe account for that somehow. Right. Whether it's maybe, like I said, even being a little bit more negative in your position, allowing a little bit extra risk here or there, from a delta standpoint, and then maybe adding a vertical in, right? Or whatever, like you said.
100%. Yeah. And one of the questions you always ask is, if you're new to trading, what is some advice that you would give to a new trader, right? And I remember when I was very green, I would ask these questions to you and Stephen. I would say, well, how do you guys know the probability? I'm very analytical. Is there a trigger that tells you that something's 80% probable versus 50%? And the answer is, right, there's a lot of information that you're absorbing to help you. It's a feeling sometimes, right? You're looking at what the technicals show, you're looking at seasonality, whatever it is. And where you really start to hone in on that probability, just as an example, is experience, right? It's you looking at the market. It's you kind of understanding how the market behaves, and you start to just feel the vibe of saying, okay, probabilities are fairly high here, or probabilities are pretty low here. I'm not going to risk nearly as much. And there's no manual that you can give someone and say, hey, read this up, follow these instructions, and you're going to be incredibly successful at what you do, because the markets are not a zero-sum black and white game for a lot of people.
Right. No, I agree with you, right? And if there was that book, I would give it to you. right.
Yeah, you would 100%. Exactly. Yeah. It's a lifelong journey, let's just say.